So if we look at our product forecast, we have an example of a product that is perhaps a product that has been sold for a long time, so an existing product that has historical data. The final scenario that was selected on the medical side will become the baseline for this forecast. So our product forecast for pharmacy is set up at the same level of granularity as our medical forecast. We have it by region and by segment, and we've split up the similar categories of activity as we saw previously. So you'll see in this table down here, we have our data-driven sales, which is inclusive of net new members that are joining, similar cancels, and workforce change. But we also have two new buckets up here. We have product upsells and product cancels, and those are activities that are happening, changes to product-specific membership that are not influenced by changes in medical membership. So this product upsells would include accounts that are choosing to add on a new product upon renewal of their membership that they already had. Similarly, a cancel would include perhaps accounts that chose to drop a product but maintain their medical membership with the organization. So the way that this data-driven forecast is built is similar to our medical forecast. We are taking a weighted average of the same months in prior years using those same weights that we saw on the first page. The difference being is that our activity that is tied to medical activity is going to be forecasted based on the proportion of medical membership. So for example, if we're looking at the month of December 2020, this forecast sales number is coming from the proportion of medical members that bought pharmacy in prior Decembers, so December 2019 and December 2018. And we're forecasting forward that the same proportion of net new members are going to be adding on pharmacy when they join for the first time. So that will, again, iterate for all those months. The reason we separate the months is to account for the seasonality there. And then our product upsells, since it's not tied to medical activity, will be forecast in the same way as medical on its own. So it's a weighted average on its own, not looking at medical membership. So the same concept applies to how we forecast cancels as well as product cancels, and workforce changes, again, going to be taking a weighted average. Coming back to the top here, we also have a summary chart showing our enrollment rates across different lines of business and regions. So we can easily compare how does our enrollment rate for pharmacy, this pharmacy product, compare across our different regions and segments. So based on this, we can see that enrollment rate across regions is pretty consistent, but between segments, there's a very clear separation between our smaller groups versus our larger accounts. So to begin adjusting and scenario planning in our pharmacy forecast, we have a similar setup to what we saw for medical. We have the ability to create different scenarios, and our forecast table down here looks very similar. The primary difference being is that our driver table is looking at different drivers from what we saw before. So if we think that there's going to be a net growth in total membership, that would have already been accounted for on our medical forecasting page. Since our pharmacy forecast is based off of the medical forecast, a net growth of 10% or 15% in sales will also be reflected on the pharmacy side already. So any further refinements that are happening to the product forecast on this side are focused on the product upsells and the product cancels, where there is changes in product membership that are not tied to medical membership. If we look at our data table down here with our entire forecast, we've also layered in similar information to what we saw on the medical scenario planning side. We've pulled in our pipeline information, and that is assuming that Salesforce or the CRM tool that you're using is also tracking opportunities for the products or tracking products on opportunities that are seen on the medical side. So based on what we know, we can also track the closed won pharmacy sales, the ones that are still open and in progress. And we can track our renewals, whether they might renew with pharmacy or perhaps they'll renew and drop pharmacy. We can track what we think is going to close. For the data-driven piece, again, that's going to be accounted for in our out years, but the planner can come in and start making adjustments to the product upsell and cancel rate. If I'm a planner, as before, in the small group space of region B, I might say, okay, I trust the pipeline to take care of the next few months, but for November on, I'm going to make some adjustments to our product upsell and cancel rate. I think that for our members remaining, we know that a pharmacy add-on perhaps is going to do better. So based on our weighted average run rate forecast, we think it might potentially increase from there. Our cancel rate, let's say, will stay the same from what we're seeing now. And we can, again, iterate through this exercise for all of our regions and segments. And we have a similar setup down here to view all of our scenarios when we've created them. The other type of product that we can forecast in this tool that is also based on our medical forecast is a new product. And this is a product perhaps that has recently been developed, and you'd like to begin forecasting to see what our membership will look like in a year or in 2 years. So in this example here, you can see that our data table is currently empty. This is assuming that perhaps you have no sales so far, or you could potentially have very few sales on a product that recently has started, but not enough data to begin producing a data-driven forecast off of. So this scenario planning is set up somewhat differently, being a new product. We have it split by the same level of detail by regions and by segments of the business. And we can begin making inputs to our new sales and our product upsell rate expectation. If we think this product is going to start selling in the next month, we can start making inputs here, but we could also push that out to indicate when we think our start date is going to be. So in this example, if I, as a planner, I know that this telehealth remote monitoring product, we're allowed to start selling it beginning in the month of June. And based on discussions with the product team and with marketing and the sales team, we think that our new sale participation rate is going to be sitting at, let's say, 20% for 2020. And then beginning in 2021, we want to hopefully boost that to 30%. And you'll see that once I input those new sale participation rates, that has populated our new sales line. So this is looking at the medical forecasted sales for these months and applying that percentage that you input for the participation rate. And you'll also notice that the cancels begin populating. The cancels are being calculated beginning 1 year after original sales start. This is under the assumption that plans renew annually, and that if the first sale happens in June of 2020, theoretically the first cancel can start happening in June of 2021. And the way this is forecast is we are looking at what proportion of your total membership has this new telehealth product at this point in time. And of all the members that could be renewing in June of 2021, that percentage could have telehealth. And so this is the proportion that could be canceling. You'll also see that the workforce change line began populating. Workforce change can happen on a monthly basis. We're not only seeing people add on to a company's healthcare on renewal. They could be joining at any point. So workforce change is going to begin updating the month after you have your first month of sales. And this is calculated by taking the medical workforce change and applying that percentage of how many of our medical members have this new telehealth remote monitoring product in that month. So you can see that as our membership percentage ramps up, our workforce change will also be ramping up over time. Okay. So the other piece to our forecast is not only sales that come from net new members joining, but also our sales team is going to be trying to upsell this product to existing members. And so we do ask the planner to input a product upsell rate. And this is looking at, of the members that are renewing each month, what proportion do we think we can upsell on this product? So get them to renew with telehealth remote monitoring. Let's say that based on discussions with the sales team, we think that 25% of them can be upsold on this product for 2020. And we're hoping to boost that to 35% next year. So again, this exercise will be iterated through for the different regions and segments, and you can see that based on that input I made, we've begun to populate our product upsells. And this is based on how many total members are renewing that month and the proportion that we think we can upsell. So after we've filled in that basic information, we can see our membership and how it's going to ramp up over time. So by the end of this year, we're going to have about 20% participation rate in Region B small group. And with those inputs that I made for 2021, by the end of 2021, we will have around a 52% participation rate. So we can iterate through this for several different scenarios, again, to see how this kind of different sales rates will affect our membership over time. Similar structure to what we saw before. So this concludes our demo of a membership forecasting tool for a managed care organization. Thanks for watching.